Hello, my name is Jill Engel-Cox. Over the past 15 years, I've been working with people from all over the world to think about how to integrate renewable and clean energy into their research programs. Many countries, cities, and companies have established high clean energy objectives. These are done in part to reduce emissions, but they also want to address concepts such as jobs, the economy, international trade, public leadership, and many other reasons. These are all part of sustainability in its classic definition of including the environment, economics, and society all simultaneously. So in this short intro, I'd like to spend just a few minutes talking about clean energy and an overall approach to planning clean energy and its research programs. I have one slide to share to illustrate these ideas. First, I'd like to emphasize that the future of clean energy is diversity. What I mean by that is there will not be one solution for each country in the world, or even each state or city. Each place has its own resources and society and ways of making decisions. Therefore, its solution will be unique. So when planning our energy future, I see there are 5 key elements to consider. First is the diversity of advanced clean energy technologies themselves, illustrated with the photos here. Wind and solar are growing significantly now, largely due to technology advances that increased efficiency in power conversion and reduced cost of manufacturing and deployment. For example, in 1977, solar photovoltaic cells were $77 a watt US. Now, entire PV panels are about a quarter per watt, a greater than 99% price reduction. There have been many similar advances in wind turbines, resulting in similar reduction of costs. So this is why we've seen such a rapid growth in these technologies in recent years. Notice that solar and wind are diverse too, including both large-scale, utility-scale solar, as well as distributed and microgrid solar. You've got onshore wind and offshore wind, both at very different scales. And PV solar can be both PV, which is electric, as well as thermal in the form of concentrating solar power. There are many other technologies too. Let me mention a few of them. Geothermal energy has been around for thousands of years, and geothermal electricity for over 100. But new types of geothermal energy technologies can leverage advances in oil and gas drilling methods, particularly horizontal drilling and hydrofracturing, to access hot rock resources underground that previously were not accessible through geothermal energy. Hydropower has also been around a long time, but it is not just large dams, but now includes small run-of-the-river hydropower, plus wave and tidal power in the oceans, which are both being researched and demonstrated. Biomass and waste to energy for heat and liquid fuels is also important, as well as energy efficiency and the reuse of heat. In fact, energy efficiency really means that the cheapest energy is what you don't use. LED lights, better appliances, more efficient cooling and refrigeration, recovering waste heat, they all fall into this important category. New storage technologies are also being developed, including batteries of many kinds, from lithium-ion to flow batteries, as well as the creation of hydrogen from electrically powered electrolysis to split water. Hydrogen leads me to the next factor of energy strategic planning, which is systems integration. Clean energy can be combined with other energy technologies to meet multiple energy demands. As an example, with more clean energy on the electricity grid, we may have times of excess electricity production, resulting in very low-cost electrons. We can then use this excess electricity through electrolysis, electricity-powered water splitting, to create hydrogen, which can be stored until needed. It can be used for process heat, it can be run back through a fuel cell to create electricity again, or we could use the hydrogen as industrial feedstock. And one idea that's being explored is capturing carbon dioxide from natural gas power plants and combining it with solar-powered Solar created hydrogen to make methane to feed into our existing pipeline network. So there's many exciting possibilities when we look at a systems approach. But how do we choose? The next key factor when planning is to model different scenarios. We don't know what the future will be, so having models and digital twins of cities or systems allows us to plan for many possible futures where energy prices may change. They could be low, they could be high. Our goals and targets may change based on policies and politics and societal changes. And of course, the climate may change. So with a good model, you can run dozens of scenarios and see how they integrate into existing energy systems over time. These are not predictions, but they're options that decision makers can use to plan resources and objectives. It is important to be able to do this at a scale relevant to decision making, which could be at a global scale, but it's more likely at a country or regional or city scale. With these scenarios, decision makers and stakeholders can enable their desired energy outcomes with policies. These policies can take many forms, depending on what each government or institution prefers. They can include targets, cost incentives, technical standards, research funding, education, regulations, many different options. Once set, they should be reviewed and monitored for adaptation as markets change. For example, renewable energy in many countries, such as Europe and the US, was encouraged through cost incentives, such as feed-in tariffs or tax deductions. But as wind and solar technologies can now compete on level playing fields, these cost incentives are being reduced or phased out completely. Finally, it is important that renewable energy and sustainability plans be aligned with the individual society where they are being implemented. Each country has its own set of natural and human resources, its own energy needs, and its own social preferences. Therefore, each country's clean energy solution will be unique. It may be a combination of renewables with natural gas, such as in the United States. It may be renewables and nuclear power, such as in France. It could be nearly 100% renewable energy with hydropower and geothermal, such as in Iceland and Costa Rica. Plus, our goals should include providing clean energy to the nearly 1 billion people in the world who do not have access to reliable electricity. So society is as important as technology, systems thinking, modeling, and policies when we're considering sustainable energy. So those are my key factors to consider. Good luck, and thank you very much for listening.